The world does not need more noise. The world does not need more titles. The world does not need more people wearing positions with empty hearts. The world does not even need more religious activity if that activity never becomes responsibility. What the world needs is the gift that God placed inside specific people, assigned people, prepared people, hidden people, ordinary people who have been walking around with divine answers locked up inside human bodies. Write this down. God never creates anything without purpose. Nothing exists first and then looks for a reason to exist. Purpose is always before production. The manufacturer never makes a product and then asks, what shall we do with this? No. The purpose is conceived before the product is formed. That means if you are here, you are not here by accident. You may have been unplanned by your parents, but you were not unplanned by God. You may have surprised your family, but you did not surprise heaven. You may have entered the earth through difficult circumstances, but circumstances are not the source of your purpose. They are only the environment where you arrived. And this is where I must confront something very quietly hiding in many hearts. There are people listening to me right now who believe I am optional, I am replaceable, I am unnecessary, I am too late. Someone else is already doing what I could have done. Someone else is more qualified, more educated, more visible, more spiritual, more connected. That thought did not come from God. That is a learned mindset. That is a philosophy you picked up from pain, from rejection, from failure, from comparison, from culture, from religion, without revelation. It is possible to be delivered from Egypt and still think like a slave. You can be out of the situation and still governed by the mentality of the situation. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as he thinketh in his head, in his heart. That means your life will never rise above the belief system that controls your inner man. If you believe you are unnecessary, you will behave like a spare part. If you believe you are replaceable, you will hide when you should serve. If you believe you are too late, you will bury what should be planted. And the tragedy is not that you are empty. The tragedy is that you are full, but convinced you are empty. Say it with me. I am not an accident. I am carrying an answer. Say it again, because your old belief system did not hear you the first time. I am not an accident. I am carrying an answer. Now listen carefully. The question is not whether you matter. That question has already been answered by your creation. If God made you, then God needed you in time. The question is not, am I necessary? The question is, have I discovered what I am carrying? There is a difference between existence and discovery. There is a difference between being alive and being awakened. Many people are living, but they have never met themselves. They know their name, but not their nature. They know their birthday, but not their assignment. They know their job title, but not their work. You are necessary because there is a problem in the human family that your gift was designed to address. There is a pain somewhere that needs what you carry. There is a question somewhere that your life is supposed to answer. There is confusion somewhere that your clarity is supposed to solve. There is disorder somewhere that your leadership is supposed to bring into arrangement. There is a child, a business, a community, a generation, a family, a city, a ministry, an industry waiting for the part of God's wisdom that He deposited in you. This is why inferiority is not humility. Inferiority is an insult to the Creator. When you say, I am nothing, heaven does not applaud you. Heaven says, who taught you that? Because the Creator never makes nothing. God does not waste material. God does not waste breath. God does not waste time. If He allowed you to enter this generation, then this generation contains a need connected to your presence. You see, religion has taught many people to wait for heaven while ignoring earth. But Jesus did not teach us to escape responsibility. He taught us to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. On earth. That means your gift is not just for church services. Your gift is for earth. Your mind is for earth. Your skill is for earth. Your compassion is for earth. Your creativity is for earth. Your ability to organize, build, teach, heal, design, counsel, govern, sing, write, invent, reconcile, produce, and lead is for earth. So stop asking God to use you while you keep calling yourself useless. Stop asking God for purpose while you keep despising the gift he already placed in you. Stop praying for significance while refusing responsibility. Write this down. Significance is not found in being seen. Significance is found in solving what you were sent to solve. And if something in you is waking up right now, do not treat that lightly. That stirring is not emotion. It is responsibility knocking. Stay connected to this teaching with intention. Do not subscribe like a spectator collecting videos. Subscribe like a student accepting training. And I want you to write one sentence where you can see it and where others can witness it. The world needs what God placed in me. Not because you are arrogant, because you are accountable. Say it again. The world needs what God placed in me. You are not here to imitate another person's assignment. You are not here to compete with another person's gift. You are here to discover, develop, and deploy what the Creator hid inside you before your mother ever held you. But before you can deploy the gift, you must recover the original idea. Before you can serve your generation, you must understand what God had in mind when he made humanity. Because purpose does not begin with your problem. Purpose begins in the mind of God. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, God makes a statement that must become the foundation of your self-concept. He says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Now listen carefully. Before there was failure, there was image. Before there was fear, there was likeness. Before there was culture, there was dominion. Before there was rejection, there was assignment. God did not begin the human story with sin. He began it with purpose. This is why you must never allow your history to become your identity. Your history is too young to define you. Your mistakes are too recent to cancel what God knew before he formed you. Your pain may be loud, but it is not original. Your disappointment may be real, but it is not the source. The source is older than your wound. The source is older than your family system. The source is older than your country, your school, your economy, your divorce, your addiction, your failure, your unemployment, your rejection. Write this down. Purpose is older than your pain. Say that with me. Purpose is older than my pain. That means when you are trying to discover why you are here, do not start with what happened to you. Start with who made you. The created thing does not explain itself. The manufacturer explains the product. The chair does not tell you why it was made. The maker tells you. The microphone does not determine its own function. The designer determines it. And if you want to know the purpose of a thing, you never ask the thing. You ask the creator of the thing. So when God said, let us make man, he was not reacting to a problem. He was revealing an intention. Man was not created as an afterthought. Man was created as an assignment. You are not God's emergency plan. You are not heaven's accident. You are not something God is trying to find a use for. Before you arrived in your mother's womb, there was already a divine idea concerning your existence. Before anyone named you, heaven had already defined you. Before society gave you a label, God had already given you an image, a likeness, an authority, and a purpose. Now, let us correct something, because religious people sometimes become dangerous when they misunderstand dominion. Dominion does not mean domination over people. God never gave you permission to control another human being. Dominion is not oppression. Dominion is not manipulation. Dominion is not using your gift to make others small so you can feel important. Dominion means responsible management. It means governing an area of creation according to the wisdom, character, and purpose of God. In other words, dominion is not about ruling people. It is about serving creation with your gift. If God gave you a mind for order, your dominion may be in administration. If God gave you compassion for the broken, your dominion may be in healing. If God gave you a burden for justice, your dominion may be in law, advocacy, policy, or community transformation. If God gave you creativity, your dominion may be in design, music, writing, architecture, technology, communication. If God gave you insight into children, your dominion may be in education. If God gave you wisdom for resources, your dominion may be in business and stewardship. Do you understand what I am saying? Dominion is domain responsibility. It is the area where your gift is supposed to function until something improves because you were there. This is why identity must precede activity. God did not first give man a job application. He gave man image. He did not first give man a salary. He gave man likeness. He did not first give man a title. He gave man dominion. Society begins with activity. God begins with identity. Society asks, what do you do? God asks, who are you? Because if you do not know who you are, you will misuse what you do. Many people are busy, but they are not aligned. They are employed, but not deployed. They are productive, but not purposeful. They have motion, but no mission. They are working hard in a place where their gift is suffocating because they accepted a definition from society that was lower than the original idea of God. Your job may describe your activity, but it cannot define your identity. Your income may measure compensation, but it cannot measure calling. Your position may give you access, but it cannot give you purpose. Write this down. God never starts with your occupation. He starts with your nature. That is why the scripture says image and likeness before dominion. Image means you carry the nature of the Creator. Likeness means you are designed to function like Him in character, wisdom, creativity, responsibility, and moral government. Then dominion means He gave you an area to manage. So the order is important. Being, then functioning. Identity, then activity. Nature, then assignment. If you reverse the order, you will spend your life trying to become somebody by doing something. But in God's system, you do something because you already are somebody. This is where we must confront religious passivity. Many people are waiting for heaven to do what heaven already placed in them, the capacity to begin. They are praying for God to fix a neighborhood while refusing to organize. They are praying for God to reach young people while refusing to mentor. They are praying for God to change business ethics while refusing to build righteous companies. They are praying for God to heal families while refusing to learn wisdom, communication, forgiveness, and responsibility. Prayer is powerful, but prayer was never designed to replace obedience. Do not use prayer to hide from your assignment. Do not use worship to escape work. Do not use spirituality as an excuse for irresponsibility. God did not give humanity dominion so humanity could sit down and wait for angels to manage earth. He gave man a body because earth needs bodies. He gave man a mind because earth needs wisdom. He gave man hands because earth needs work. He gave man gifts because earth has problems. So when you ask God, Lord, what do you want me to do? Sometimes heaven is asking you, what did I place in you? What disturbs you? What do you keep noticing? What problem makes you uncomfortable? What area of disorder keeps calling your attention? What gift do people keep receiving from you even when you do it naturally? These are clues. These are not accidents. Your assignment is often hidden in the burden you cannot escape and the ability you keep underestimating. And because Genesis says let them have dominion, not let him only, it means dominion was given to humanity, not to a special religious class, not to a royal family, not to a few celebrities, not to people with microphones, platforms, degrees, or titles. Them, that includes you. But if everyone has dominion, then everyone must have a domain. If everyone is necessary, then everyone must carry a specific contribution. If everyone was created in the image and likeness of God, then every person carries a portion of divine capacity meant to serve the world. Say this, I have a domain. Say it again, I have a domain. You may not have discovered it yet, but it exists. You may not have developed it yet, but it is there. You may have buried it under fear, comparison, shame, religion, poverty, or procrastination, but it has not left you. The gift is still waiting for your courage. The domain is still waiting for your obedience. The world is still waiting for your contribution. Your purpose did not begin when people accepted you. Your purpose did not begin when doors opened. Your purpose did not begin when you felt confident. Your purpose began in the mind of God before circumstance ever touched you. And if it began in God, then your pain cannot cancel it, your past cannot erase it, and your present confusion cannot destroy it. The only thing that can keep it buried is your refusal to discover what He placed inside you. Now, if God placed something inside you, then we must define it correctly. Because many people hear the word gift and they think only of singing, preaching, painting, speaking, writing, or something that can stand on a stage. That is too small. A gift is not merely a talent that entertains people. A gift is the inherent capacity, the grace, the skill, the burden, the insight, the creativity, the problem-solving ability that God placed in you for the benefit of somebody else. Write this down. A gift is divine ability packaged for human service. Your gift may be your ability to see order where everyone else sees confusion. Your gift may be your ability to explain what others cannot understand. Your gift may be your compassion for people everyone else ignores. Your gift may be your mind for systems, your hand for building, your eye for beauty, your ear for pain, your wisdom for money, your courage for justice, your patience with children, your capacity to organize chaos, your ability to reconcile enemies, your instinct to create what does not yet exist. Do not make the mistake of despising your gift because it comes naturally to you. Sometimes the thing you call easy is the very thing somebody else is praying for. This is why Proverbs says, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. Notice what it does not say. It does not say a man's begging makes room for him. It does not say a man's jealousy makes room for him. It does not say a man's imitation makes room for him. It does not say a man's title makes room for him. It says his gift. Your gift has room-making power. Your gift has access power. Your gift has introduction power. When you discover it, develop it, and serve it properly, it will take you into places your resume could not take you. But here is the problem. Many people are asking for room while neglecting the gift that was designed to make the room. They are praying for doors, but they are not developing what should walk through the door. They are asking for opportunity, but they are not preparing capacity. They want a platform, but they have not produced value. And God is not impressed by noise. Heaven is not moved by performance. The world does not reward hidden potential. The world responds to value. Say this with me. My gift must serve. Say it again. My gift must serve. Your gift is not primarily for self-display. It is not a decoration. Your gift is not jewelry for your ego. Your gift is not something God gave you so people can clap while you feel important. Your gift is a responsibility. I want you to write that down and never forget it. Your gift is not a decoration. Your gift is a responsibility. That means the evidence that you have discovered your gift is not applause. Applause can be dangerous because people can clap for something that is not your assignment. People can applaud your performance while your purpose is starving. People can celebrate your charisma while your character remains undeveloped. People can make you famous for something heaven never assigned you to do. So do not measure your gift by noise. Measure it by value delivered. Who is helped? What is solved? What improves? What confusion becomes clarity? What burden becomes lighter? What disorder begins to align because you showed up with what God placed in you? Significance must be reframed. You are not important because you are famous. Fame is a poor measurement of importance. Some of the most necessary people in history were not famous in their own generation. Some of the most useful people are never known by crowds. The person who raises a child with wisdom may change a nation and never trend one day. The person who builds an honest business may feed families and never stand under lights. The person who teaches one student may unlock a leader who transforms a city. You are not important because everybody knows your name. You are important because somebody's problem is connected to your solution. Do you understand what I am saying? Importance is functional. A key is important because there is a lock assigned to it. A seed is important because there is a tree inside it. A wire is important because current must pass through it. Your life is important because there is a contribution God designed to pass through you into the world. If you do not function, something remains locked, something remains undeveloped, something remains disconnected. This is why comparison is so destructive. Comparison is not innocent. Comparison is an attack on assignment. When you compare your gift to another person's gift, you temporarily abandon your own domain. You leave your area of leadership to become a spectator in somebody else's field. You look at their grace, their speed, their audience, their opportunity, their voice, their business, their ministry, their influence, and while you are watching them, your own seed remains in the ground. Never compare a mango tree with a coconut tree. They are both trees, but they do not carry the same fruit. Never compare the eye with the hand. The hand can touch what the eye can never touch, but the eye can see what the hand can never see. If the eye becomes jealous of the hand and refuses to see, the whole body suffers. If the hand becomes jealous of the eye and refuses to work, the whole body suffers. The problem is not difference. Difference is design. The problem is when difference becomes insecurity. Say this: I will not abandon my assignment. Say it again: I will not abandon my assignment. Some of you have been frustrated because you are trying to succeed with another person's gift. That is hard work. Nothing is more exhausting than trying to become someone God never created you to be. You can admire people, learn from people, honor people, study people, but you must never disappear into people. The Creator did not make you as a copy. He made you as an original solution. If He wanted another them, He would have repeated them. But He made you because there is something He wanted to express through your life that could not be expressed through theirs. And here is the great discipline of life. You must discover the problem your gift was designed to answer. Because a gift without a problem becomes entertainment. A gift connected to a problem becomes service. If you can sing, who are you healing? If you can teach, who are you enlightening? If you can build, what are you solving? If you can lead, what chaos are you bringing into order? If you can create, what need are you meeting? If you can speak, what truth are you delivering? If you can organize, what burden are you removing? The gift becomes powerful when it is connected to service. This is why your gift matters. Not because it makes you superior, not because it gives you a reason to boast, not because it separates you above people. Your gift matters because it is designed to solve something beyond you. The moment you understand this, selfishness begins to die. You stop asking, how can I be seen? And you begin asking, who needs what I carry? You stop asking, how can I be celebrated? And you begin asking, where is the problem my gift was sent to address? And once you see your gift as your real contribution, you will never again allow a job to become the full definition of your life. A job may give you a paycheck, but your gift gives you purpose. A job may give you a position, but your gift reveals your assignment. A job may employ your time, but your gift deploys your life. So we must talk about this carefully, because many people have confused employment with purpose. And as long as you think your job is your identity, you will never fully understand your work. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Write that down. Your job is an economic arrangement. Your work is a divine assignment. Your job is the agreement between you and an organization, a company, an institution, a customer, or a system. Your work is the agreement between your creation and your creator. Your job may use your time, but your work reveals your design. Your job may give you a uniform, a desk, a schedule, a badge, a salary, a pension, a business card, but your work is the thing that still speaks when all of those things are removed. This is why you must be careful not to confuse employment with purpose. Employment is temporary. Purpose is permanent. Employment is external. Purpose is internal. Employment can be offered to you by people, and employment can be taken from you by people. But your work was not given to you by people. Your work was hidden inside your nature by God. So if they fire you, your gift goes with you. If they reject you, your gift goes with you. If they overlook you, your gift goes with you. If the company closes, your gift goes with you. If the economy changes, your gift goes with you. If your title disappears, your gift goes with you. If you retire from the job, you do not retire from purpose. Say this with me. My job can change, but my work remains. Say it again. My job can change, but my work remains. Some of you have been grieving a job as if you lost yourself. You lost a position, but you did not lose your purpose. You lost a paycheck, but you did not lose your gift. You lost access to a building, but you did not lose access to your design. You lost a supervisor, but you did not lose the creator. Do not let a company convince you that because they no longer need your service in their system, the world no longer needs your gift in God's system. That is a lie. A job can expire. A gift does not expire. A contract can end. An assignment remains until it is fulfilled. And I must speak to the person who says, I am unemployed. That may be true economically, but it must not become true spiritually. You may not have a job, but you still have work. You may not have a salary, but you still have seed. You may not have an office, but you still have an assignment. You may not have a platform, but you still have a problem you were born to solve. Never allow unemployment to become uselessness in your mind. The system may not have hired you, but heaven already assigned you. And I must speak to the person who is underpaid. Do not let compensation become the measurement of contribution. Many people are paid less than the value they carry because the market has not yet recognized the gift properly, or because they have not yet developed the gift fully, or because they are serving it in the wrong environment. But your paycheck is not your worth. Your paycheck is only the current economic response to where and how you are serving. If you are underpaid, do not become bitter, become clearer, develop, refine, serve, produce value. Value has a voice. Value will eventually argue for you in rooms where your emotions cannot enter. And I must speak to the retired person. Retirement from a job is not retirement from life. In the kingdom, retirement is not permission to disappear. If your body still has breath, your life still has responsibility. You may not report to the factory anymore. You may not report to the school anymore. You may not report to the office anymore. But there are young people who need your wisdom. There are families who need your counsel. There are communities that need your memory. There are businesses that need your experience. There are mistakes that the next generation does not have to repeat if you will deploy what time has taught you. Do not retire from relevance. Now here is the tragedy. Many people are busy at their job but absent from their work. They wake up early, they drive in traffic, they answer emails, they attend meetings, they complete reports, they perform duties, they collect wages, and yet the real gift inside them remains untouched. They are surviving economically while neglecting their assignment spiritually. They are tired every day, but not fulfilled. They are active every day, but not fruitful. They are making a living, but not releasing a life. There is a difference between being busy and being deployed. Busy means your schedule is full. Deployed means your gift is serving its assignment. Busy can exhaust you without producing fruit. Deployment gives you energy even while it demands discipline. Have you ever noticed that there are some things you do and afterward you are tired in your body but alive in your spirit? That is a clue. There are some services that drain your flesh but strengthen your inner man because they are connected to your design. That is not ordinary activity, that is work. So let me give you a diagnostic. Do not just ask, what job can I get? Ask, what problem keeps troubling me? What disorder do you notice that other people ignore? What pain do you keep feeling responsible for? What need keeps appearing before you? What ability do people keep drawing from you? What do they keep asking you to explain, fix, organize, build, interpret, create, lead, heal, or settle? What burden refuses to leave you even when you are tired of thinking about it? What service gives you righteous energy? What activity makes you feel, this is why I am alive? These are clues to your work. Your work is often hiding in the problem that disturbs you and the ability that keeps flowing from you. Moses was disturbed by oppression. David was disturbed by an uncircumcised giant insulting the armies of God. Nehemiah was disturbed by broken walls. Jesus was moved with compassion when he saw people scattered like sheep without a shepherd. Burden is not always a sign of depression. Sometimes burden is the voice of assignment. Sometimes the thing you cannot tolerate is the thing you were born to address. But do not make the mistake of waiting for a platform before you begin serving. Platforms are not the goal. Service is the goal. Too many people want visibility before faithfulness. They want influence before value. They want followers before fruit. They want a microphone before they have a message. They want a stage before they have served anybody in secret. Listen to me carefully. If your gift is real, begin where you are. Serve the gift in your house. Serve it in your neighborhood. Serve it in your church. Serve it in your company. Serve it online. Serve it in small rooms. Serve it for one person. Serve it when nobody claps. Serve it when nobody posts about you. Serve it until the gift becomes mature enough to make room. Recognition is attracted to value. Do not chase recognition. Serve value. Leaders do not seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders because leaders carry solutions. When your gift begins to solve problems consistently, people will find you. A thirsty man does not need an advertisement to search for water. A sick man does not need entertainment to search for healing. A confused man will travel for clarity. A broken system will pay for order. The world is looking for answers, not noise. So stop saying, I have no opportunity. Your first opportunity is to become faithful with what you already carry. Stop saying, nobody opened the door. Develop the gift until the gift makes room. Stop saying, they do not see me. Produce value until your contribution becomes difficult to ignore. And even if they never see you, heaven sees obedience. The goal is not to be famous. The goal is to be deployed. But here is where we must go next. Because even when the gift is present, it can remain buried. Even when the assignment is real, the person can still live beneath it. Why? Because the gift does not rise above the belief system that governs the heart. A person can carry greatness and think small. A person can have divine capacity and slave mentality. A person can possess an answer and still believe they are unnecessary. So before we talk more about development and deployment, we must deal with the hidden prison inside the mind. Because a buried gift is usually protected by a broken belief. Now listen carefully. The greatest prison in the world is not made of steel. It is not made of concrete. It is not surrounded by guards. The greatest prison in the world is a belief system that convinces a free person to live like a slave. That is why a person can leave Egypt and still carry Egypt in the heart. Deliverance is when God takes you out of bondage. Freedom is when God takes bondage out of you. Write this down. Your gift will not rise above the belief system that governs your heart. This is why Proverbs says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Notice, it does not say, as a man thinketh in his head. It says, in his heart. The heart is the deep place. The heart is the control center. The heart is the soil where your conclusions about yourself are planted. Your head can receive information, but your heart determines permission. You can hear that you are gifted in your head and still rejected in your heart. You can hear that God has a purpose for you in your head and still live like you are disqualified in your heart. So the problem is not always that you do not have a gift. The problem is that your belief system has become a security guard standing at the door of your potential, refusing to let your gift come out. You say, I want to do more, but your heart says, who do you think you are? You say, I want to build, but your heart says, people like us do not build things like that. You say, I want to lead, but your heart says, you failed before. You say, I want to serve my generation, but your heart says, nobody will listen to you. That is not humility, that is bondage. Say this with me. I must challenge what I believe. Say it again. I must challenge what I believe. Many of you are not limited by ability. You are limited by permission. You have the capacity, but you do not have the internal authorization. You have the gifts, but you do not have the belief system to release it. That is why leadership is not first a matter of skill. Leadership is a matter of mentality. Skill can be trained. Technique can be improved. Information can be learned. But if the heart believes I am nothing, then every opportunity will look too big. Every door will look suspicious. Every invitation will feel like a mistake. Every assignment will awaken fear instead of faith. Culture can put a speed limit on your mind. Family systems can put a speed limit on your mind. Poverty can put a speed limit on your mind. Failure can put a speed limit on your mind. Criticism can put a speed limit on your mind. Religious misunderstanding can put a speed limit on your mind. And the tragedy is this: after the environment changes, many people keep obeying the old sign. You understand what I'm saying? A speedometer is placed in a car by the manufacturer. It tells you the capacity of the car, but the road sign tells you the limit of the environment. The manufacturer may build the car to go 160 miles an hour, but the neighborhood says 35. Now, there is nothing wrong with driving 35 in a 35 zone. That is wisdom. But if you spend your whole life in a 35-mile environment, you may begin to believe your car was only built for 35. Then God opens a wider road, and you still drive like you are trapped in the old neighborhood. Some of you have a 160-mile gift, but you are driving at the speed limit of your childhood. You are driving at the speed limit of your critics. You are driving at the speed limit of your last failure. You are driving at the speed limit of the teacher who told you that you would never amount to anything. You are driving at the speed limit of a family that survived so long that they forgot how to dream. You are driving at the speed limit of a religion that taught you to be small and call it humility. But humility is not denying what God placed in you. Humility is agreeing with God and using what He placed in you for service. False humility says, I am nothing. True humility says, without God, I am nothing. But with what He placed in me, I am responsible. There is a difference. If God gave you a gift, insulting the gift is not humility. Burying the gift is not humility. Refusing to develop the gift is not humility. That is mismanagement. Now I want you to identify your sentence. Every prison has a sentence. Some of you have been living under a sentence spoken by fear. I am too old. That is a sentence. I am too young. That is a sentence. I am not educated enough. That is a sentence. Nobody will listen. That is a sentence. I already failed. That is a sentence. Someone else can do it better. That is a sentence. And as long as you keep repeating the sentence, you keep strengthening the prison. Who told you you were too old? Moses was not too old. Who told you you were too young? Jeremiah was not too young. Who told you failure disqualifies you? Peter failed publicly and still carried an assignment. Who told you nobody will listen? If God gave you a message, He also knows where the ears are. Who told you someone else can do it better? That may be true, but they cannot do your assignment as you. Better is not the issue. Obedience is the issue. Write this down. Comparison makes you resign from your own life. You do not need to be the greatest in everybody's field. You need to be faithful in your field. You do not need to sound like everybody else. You need to release the sound God placed in you. You do not need to have the same path, same audience, same education, same history, same money, same connections. You need to believe that the Creator was intelligent when He designed you. If He gave you the gift, He knew your background before He gave it. Your history did not surprise God. Your weakness did not surprise God. Your scars did not surprise God. Sometimes the thing you survive becomes the place from which your gift speaks with authority. Say this with me. My gift is greater than my history, and my assignment is greater than my fear. Say it again. My gift is greater than my history, and my assignment is greater than my fear. One more time. Until your heart hears your mouth. My gift is greater than my history, and my assignment is greater than my fear. Now understand, this declaration is not magic. It is not a religious slogan. It is a correction of your internal government. You are dethroning a lie. You are removing an illegal ruler from the heart. You are telling fear, you will not decide my future. You are telling failure, you will not define my identity. You are telling criticism, you will not manage my obedience. You are telling poverty, you may have shaped my environment, but you will not own my imagination. Because once the heart changes, permission changes. Once permission changes, behavior changes. Once behavior changes, development begins. Once development begins, deployment becomes possible. Nothing will consistently come out of you that your heart has not first allowed to live inside you. This is why your belief system must be confronted. Not comforted, confronted. Some beliefs are not to be managed. They are to be evicted. And when you finally believe that your gift matters, you must then understand something even more sobering. Your gift is not isolated. Your function is connected to a larger system. Your obedience affects more than your personal fulfillment. Your dormancy affects more than your private life. Because in a body, a small part can create a major crisis. In a machine, a small wire can stop the whole engine. So now we must move from identity to function, from belief to responsibility, from I matter to the whole thing may suffer if I refuse to work. Now let me show you something very simple. When you lift the hood of a car and look at that engine, you are looking at a system. You are looking at parts. You are looking at belts, wires, hoses, pistons, plugs, terminals, filters, fluids, sensors, bolts, and connections. Some parts are large. Some parts are small. Some parts are visible immediately. Some parts are hidden deep where only a mechanic can see them. Some parts are expensive. Some parts cost only a few dollars. But when that engine is running properly, every part is contributing to motion. Now ask the question, who is the leader in the engine? Is it the battery? The battery says, without me, nothing starts. Is it the spark plug? The spark plug says, without me, there is no ignition. Is it the piston? The piston says, without me, there is no power. Is it the fuel pump? The fuel pump says, without me, nothing is fed. Is it the oil? The oil says, without me, everything burns up. Is it the small wire connected to the terminal? That little wire says, disconnect me and see what happens. So who is the leader? No one and everyone. Write that down. In a system, leadership is contextual to function. That means the battery is the leader when starting power is required. The spark plug is the leader when ignition is required. The fuel pump is the leader when supply is required. The oil is the leader when lubrication is required. The tire is the leader when contact with the road is required. The steering wheel is the leader when direction is required. No part leads in every area, but every part leads in its area. This is functional leadership. And this is where many people are confused. They think leadership means being on top of people. They think leadership means having a title, having an office, having a chair at the head of the table, having people report to them, having their name printed on the program. That is not leadership. That may be position. That may be management. That may be authority in an organization. But true leadership begins when you discover your function and serve it with excellence. You do not need to be over people to be necessary. You need to function faithfully in the area assigned to you. Say that with me. I do not need to be over people to be necessary. Say it again. I do not need to be over people to be necessary. Some of you have been despising your place because it is not visible. You think because you are not the microphone, you are not important. You think because you are not the face, you are not important. You think because you are not the name everyone mentions, you are not important. But the car does not move because every part is famous. The car moves because every part functions. A wire can be hidden and still be critical. A terminal can be small and still be essential. A part that costs $4 can stop a machine that costs $40,000. Do you understand what I am saying? The value of a part is not always revealed by its price. It is revealed by the crisis created when it fails. That means you may feel small, but your absence may be expensive. You may feel ordinary, but your dormancy may be creating disorder. You may feel unseen, but your refusal to function may be affecting a whole family, a whole organization, a whole ministry, a whole community, even a generation. The tragedy is not that you are small. The tragedy is that you have believed small means unnecessary. Never confuse hidden with insignificant. Roots are hidden, but the tree depends on them. Foundations are buried, but the building rests on them. Wires are covered, but the current passes through them. The heart is not seen from the outside, but if it stops, the entire body enters emergency. Hidden does not mean useless. Hidden means protected for function. This is why the body of Christ is such a powerful picture. The hand cannot say to the foot, I do not need you. The eye cannot say to the ear, I do not need you. The head cannot say to the feet, I do not need you. Difference is not inferiority. differences design. The eye leads in seeing. The ear leads in hearing. The hand leads in handling. The foot leads in movement. Each part has an area of dominion. Each part has a grace. Each part has a contribution. And when one part refuses to function, the whole body compensates. Some families are limping because one assigned part refuses to function. Some churches are weak because gifted people are sitting down waiting for a title. Some communities are suffering because people with answers are hiding behind excuses. Some companies are dysfunctional because people who can solve problems are only collecting paychecks. Some children are confused because the adult with wisdom has chosen silence. Some neighborhoods are broken because the person with courage keeps saying, "Who am I?" Who are you? You are the part assigned to function. Write this down. Your importance is proven by your function, not your title. Titles can announce you, but only function proves you. A title can put your name on a door, but function puts value in a room. A title can make people call you leader, but function makes people experience leadership. A title can be given by a board, a bishop, a boss, a committee, a government, or an institution, but function is built into your design by God. If the title is removed and the function remains, you are still necessary. If the title is present and the function is absent, you are only decorated. This is why title addiction is dangerous. Some people will not serve unless someone names them. They will not build unless someone appoints them. They will not help unless someone recognizes them. They will not move unless someone gives them a badge. That is not leadership. That is insecurity looking for permission. Leaders do not wait for titles to become useful. Leaders discover a problem, recognize their gift, and begin to serve. Do not ask, "What is my title?" Ask, "What is my function?" Do not ask, "Who is watching me?" Ask, "What is not working because I am absent?" Do not ask, "When will they promote me?" Ask, "What value am I producing now?" Promotion without function is dangerous because it gives visibility to emptiness. But function without promotion still blesses people because value does not need applause to work. A small part can stop the whole engine. So stop saying, "I am just a mother." Stop saying, "I am just a teacher." Stop saying, "I am just an assistant." Stop saying, "I am just a volunteer." Stop saying, "I am just a student." Stop saying, "I am just one person." That word "just" is often the language of unbelief. There is no just when God designed a function. If your assignment is connected to a system, then your obedience matters. Say this with me. My function matters. Say it again. My function matters. Now say this. Somebody needs me functioning. That is not pride. That is responsibility. Pride says, "I am better than everybody." Responsibility says, "I must not withhold what God assigned me to contribute." Pride demands attention. Responsibility delivers value. Pride wants a throne. Responsibility accepts a function. Pride says, "Look at me." Responsibility says, "Let me serve what is broken." And once you understand that your function matters, dormancy becomes a moral issue. You cannot keep calling it delay when it is disobedience. You cannot keep calling it humility when it is fear. You cannot keep calling it waiting when it is avoidance. If the whole system can suffer because one part refuses to function, then burying your gift is not a private matter. It is not just about your comfort. It is not just about your dreams. It is not just about whether you feel ready. There are people connected to your obedience. This is where leadership becomes serious. Leadership begins when you stop tolerating your own dormancy, not your neighbor's dormancy, not your brother's dormancy, not the government's failure, not the church's weakness, your own. Because the first system you must govern is yourself. If your gift is sleeping, wake it up. If your function is buried, dig it out. If fear has been managing you, fire it. If excuses have been sitting in the driver's seat, remove them. Because the engine is waiting, the body is waiting, the community is waiting, the generation is waiting, and the question is not whether you are famous, the question is whether you are functioning. Now listen carefully. It is possible to be affirmed and still remain irresponsible. It is possible to say, I am necessary, and still do nothing with what makes you necessary. It is possible to shout, the world needs me, and then go home and keep sleeping on your gift. That is why affirmation without accountability becomes deception. You do not confess purpose so you can feel important. You confess purpose so you can accept responsibility. Write this down. Necessity creates responsibility. If God made you necessary, then you do not have the right to be casual with your life. If he placed an answer inside you, then you do not have the right to let fear manage it. If he assigned you to a problem, then you do not have the right to spend your whole life only complaining about that problem. The moment you discover that you carry something, you become accountable for it. Discovery is not entertainment. Revelation is not decoration. When God shows you who you are, he is also showing you what you must govern. Say this with me. I am responsible for what I carry. Say it again. I am responsible for what I carry. Leadership begins when toleration ends, not when you get a title, not when people applaud you, not when somebody opens a door. Leadership begins the moment you look at something that has been living in your life illegally and say no more. Whatever you tolerate, you give permission to continue. If you tolerate fear, fear will remain. If you tolerate laziness, laziness will remain. If you tolerate confusion, confusion will remain. If you tolerate bitterness, bitterness will remain. If you tolerate delay, delay will build a house in your future. If you tolerate undeveloped potential, your gift will remain a seed while your generation waits for fruit. You must understand this principle. Toleration is silent authorization. You do not have to like a thing to permit it. You only have to refuse to confront it. Many people say, I hate being stuck, but they tolerate the habits that keep them stuck. They say, I want to grow, but they tolerate the distractions that keep stealing their attention. They say, I want to serve God, but they tolerate the excuses that keep postponing obedience. They say, I know I am gifted, but they tolerate the indiscipline that keeps the gift immature. So the question is not only what do you believe, the question is what are you tolerating? What have you been tolerating in yourself? Do not point across the room. Do not point at your family. Do not point at your supervisor. Do not point at the economy. Do not point at the church. Point at the place inside you where you have made peace with less than your design. Have you been tolerating procrastination? Have you been tolerating emotional disorder? Have you been tolerating ignorance when books are available? Have you been tolerating prayer without preparation? Have you been tolerating dreams without discipline? Have you been tolerating a gift that is always announced but never developed? This is where many religious people become dangerous to themselves. They use prayer to avoid responsibility. Now, do not misunderstand me. Prayer is essential. Prayer connects you to God. Prayer aligns your spirit. Prayer gives wisdom. Prayer gives strength. Prayer gives direction. But prayer was never designed to replace obedience. Prayer was never designed to replace preparation. Prayer was never designed to replace discipline. Prayer was never designed to replace service. If you pray for harvest and never plant seed, you are not spiritual. You are confused. If you pray for wisdom and refuse instruction, you are not humble. You are stubborn. If you pray for doors and refuse to develop capacity, you are not waiting on God. You are wasting time. God can give you a gift in a moment, but he will not develop it for you without your participation. He gives the seed. You cultivate the field. Moses saw oppression, and something in him could not tolerate it. Nehemiah heard that the walls were broken, and he could not continue eating in the palace as though nothing was wrong. Reformers are born when toleration ends. They see what everybody else has learned to live with, and they say, this is not acceptable. That disturbance is often a clue. The thing that grieves you may be connected to the gift inside you. The problem that keeps irritating you may be a signal from your assignment. What problem have you been complaining about that you were actually assigned to help solve? You keep saying somebody should teach these young people. Maybe that somebody is you. You keep saying somebody should bring order to this place. Maybe order is your gift. You keep saying somebody should speak truth. Maybe truth is burning in your bones. You keep saying somebody should build something for people like us. Maybe the builder has been hiding behind a complaint. Complaining is often a frustrated gift looking for permission to serve. Be careful what disturbs you. Everybody does not cry over the same thing. Everybody does not notice the same broken wall. Everybody does not hear the same cry. That is because assignment gives you sensitivity. Your gift gives you an ear for certain problems. Your purpose gives you pain in specific places. But if all you do is complain, you convert assignment into noise. Write this down. Frustration without action becomes poison. That is why leadership is not born from anger alone. Anger can awaken you, but discipline must build you. Pain can point you, but preparation must qualify you. Burden can identify the field, but skill must cultivate it. Once toleration ends, you cannot simply announce, I am ready. No, you must become ready. You must study. You must train. You must practice. You must submit to process. You must serve where you are. You must correct your attitude. You must manage your time. You must refine your gift until it can bless people and not just impress them. Some of you want influence without development. You want platforms without preparation. You want recognition without responsibility. That is not leadership. That is ambition wearing religious clothes. True leadership begins when you stop tolerating your own dormancy and then begin cultivating what God placed in you. You stop excusing the buried gift. You stop protecting the fair. You stop calling confusion your personality. You stop calling laziness your season. You stop calling bitterness discernment. You stop calling disobedience waiting. Say this with me. I will not tolerate dormancy. Say it again. I will not tolerate dormancy. Now say this. My gift must wake up. The world does not need your potential sleeping. Your family does not need your potential sleeping. Your community does not need your potential sleeping. Potential is powerful, but potential alone feeds nobody. A seed in a bag can be complete and still leave a field empty. A gift in your heart can be real and still leave people unserved. That is why the next step after responsibility is development. Once you stop tolerating the buried thing, you must cultivate it. You must take the seed out of hiding and put it into soil, discipline, time, pressure, and service. Because leadership is awakening in you now, not because you feel important, but because you have accepted responsibility, not because you want attention, but because you refuse to let your gift die unused. The moment you stop tolerating your buried potential, leadership begins to awaken. But awakened potential is not enough. A seed is complete, but it must become fruit. Now listen carefully. A seed is a mystery. When you hold a seed in your hand, you are not holding what it looks like, you are holding what it contains. It may look small, dry, ordinary, insignificant, but inside that seed is a tree. Inside the tree are branches. Inside the branches are fruit. Inside the fruit are more seeds. Inside those seeds are forests. So never judge a seed by its size. Judge a seed by its destiny. Write this down. Potential is complete, but purpose must be manifested. This is where many people become confused. They think because they possess potential, they have fulfilled purpose. No, possession is not manifestation. Having a gift is not the same as becoming fruitful. A seed can contain a tree and still never become shade. A seed can contain fruit and still never feed a hungry man. A seed can contain a forest and still die in a draw if nobody plants it. Potential is what God placed in you. Fruit is what discipline produces through you. Say this with me. My potential must become fruit. Say it again. My potential must become fruit. God is so wise that he gives everything in seed form. He does not give you finished trees. He gives you seeds. He gives you ability, but not maturity. He gives you capacity, but not discipline. He gives you vision, but not automatic skill. He gives you desire, but not developed character. Why? Because God designed you to participate in your own becoming. He gives the raw material, but you must cultivate it. He gives the gift, but you must develop it. He gives the assignment, but you must prepare for it. This is why a lazy person can be gifted and still be useless. This is why an undisciplined person can be talented and still be dangerous. This is why a person can have an anointing and still destroy relationships. Because gifting is not maturity. Do not confuse them. Raw ability can attract attention, but developed character sustains assignment. Talent can open a door, but character keeps you from corrupting the room. Some of you are impressed with your own seed. You keep telling people what you are called to do. You keep announcing what you can become. You keep describing the tree inside you. But nobody can eat your description. Nobody can sit under the shade of your intention. Nobody is nourished by your announcement. Potential impresses people, but fruit feeds people. Write that down. Potential impresses people, but fruit feeds people. The world is not starving for more talented people. The world has talented people everywhere. Talented singers, talented speakers, talented entrepreneurs, talented artists, talented preachers, talented leaders, talented thinkers. But the world is suffering because many talented people are not trustworthy. They have gift without discipline. They have charisma without character. They have ability without principle. They have influence without integrity. And when influence comes before maturity, the gift becomes corrupted. You must become the kind of person who can carry what God placed inside you. If your gift grows faster than your character, your gift will expose you. If your platform grows faster than your discipline, your platform will crush you. If your influence grows faster than your principles, your influence will tempt you. That is why development is not punishment. Development is protection. Process protects purpose. A seed must go into soil. Soil is not glamorous. Soil is dark. Soil is hidden. Soil applies pressure. Soil does not applaud the seed. Soil does not introduce the seed. Soil does not put the seed on a poster. Soil covers the seed and demands that it change. But without soil, the seed remains a testimony of what could have been. Some of you are resisting the very environment God is using to develop you. You want visibility before roots. You want fruit before seasons. You want harvest before cultivation. No farmer stands over a seed the next morning and curses it because it is not a tree. He understands process. He understands time. He understands watering. He understands sunlight. He understands pruning. He understands patience. But many of you have no patience with your own development. You quit too quickly. You get offended too easily. You reject correction too fast. You call every challenge an attack. Sometimes it is not an attack. Sometimes it is training. Say this with me. Correction is part of development. Say it again. Correction is part of development. If nobody can correct you, nobody can develop you. If every instruction insults you, you are not ready for influence. If every critique wounds your pride, your gift is still immature. A teachable spirit is the soil of greatness. Study your field. Learn your craft. Read what you must read. Practice what you must practice. Serve where you are needed. Listen to people who know more than you. Master communication so your gift can be understood. Build character so your gift can be trusted. Solve real problems so your gift can be measured. Do not measure your gift by excitement. Measure it by fruit. Who is being helped? What problem is being solved? What burden is being lifted? What confusion is being clarified? What disorder is being organized? What pain is being healed? What value is being produced? Fruit is evidence that the seed has submitted to process. Jesus said, you know a tree by its fruit, not by its leaves. Leaves can impress. Leaves can make noise. Leaves can fill space. But fruit reveals nature. This is why you must stop decorating your potential and start developing it. Stop polishing the seed and plant it. Stop protecting the seed and cultivate it. Stop explaining the seed and let it die to its present form so it can become what it was born to be. There is a death involved in development. The seed must stop being a seed to become a tree. That means some versions of you cannot survive your assignment. Your laziness cannot go with you. Your excuses cannot go with you. Your need for applause cannot go with you. Your fear of correction cannot go with you. Your childish attitude cannot go with you. If the seed refuses to change form, the fruit never appears. And when the fruit appears, you do not have to chase hungry people. Fruit attracts hunger. You do not see an apple tree running down the street begging people to notice apples. It simply produces. The value draws people. The nourishment draws people. The answer draws people. This is true leadership. Leaders do not chase followers. Followers are attracted to value. Opportunities are attracted to fruit. Influence is attracted to service. So stop chasing recognition. Develop fruit. Stop chasing platforms. Develop fruit. Stop begging for attention. Develop fruit. Stop envying other trees. Develop fruit. Your gift becomes a blessing to the world only when your potential is developed into fruit. And when your life begins to feed people, recognition will find you in the field of service. Influence will come not because you were insecure, but because you became valuable. Recognition is not the goal of the gift. Service is the goal. Write that down. Recognition is not the goal of the gift. Service is the goal. If you make recognition your goal, you will corrupt the gift before it matures. If you make applause your purpose, you will begin to perform instead of serve. If you make visibility your evidence, you will despise small rooms, small beginnings, small people, and small opportunities. And many people have lost their assignment not because they had no gift, but because they were addicted to being seen before they were committed to being useful. True leaders do not begin by seeking followers. They begin by serving their gift to a need. This is very important. A leader is not a person who gathers people around their ego. A leader is a person who brings value to a problem until people begin to trust the value. You do not have to beg people to follow what is feeding them. You do not have to manipulate people to respect what is helping them. You do not have to advertise character when character is consistently solving problems. Influence is attracted to value. Say this with me. Influence follows value. Say it again. Influence follows value. Some of you want a platform, but you have not produced value. You want a microphone, but you have not mastered a message. You want a title, but you have not carried a burden. You want followers, but you are not feeding anybody. You want to be known, but you are not solving anything. That is dangerous. Visibility without usefulness is noise. Platform without service is performance. Recognition without fruit is a trap because it gives you the appearance of importance without the discipline of contribution. Kingdom leadership does not begin with exposure. It begins with faithful contribution. God will test your gift in hidden places before he trusts it in public places. He will let you mentor one child before he lets you speak to thousands. He will let you bring order to one confused team before he gives you a company. He will let you solve one problem in obscurity before he opens rooms of influence. Why? Because if you cannot serve when nobody claps, applause will become your master when everybody claps. Do not despise the need in front of you. That need may be the door to your deployment. The child who needs direction may be your classroom. The family that needs stability may be your leadership laboratory. The team that is disorganized may be the place where your gift for order is proven. The business idea in your heart may be God's answer to unemployment, poverty, inefficiency, or poor service. The art inside you may heal imagination. The truth you carry may deliver minds from confusion. The technical problem you can solve may save time, money, and frustration for people you have never met. The resources you can organize may feed people, educate people, protect people, and build systems. The division you can heal may preserve a family, a church, a company, or a community. The responsibility you carry as a father may be the answer to a generation looking for covering. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions are often an excuse for delayed obedience. When I have more money, I will begin. Begin with what is in your hand. When I have more support, I will begin. Begin with the burden in your heart. When people recognize me, I will begin. No, begin serving before they recognize you. Recognition is not the permission to serve. Service is the path that makes recognition meaningful. Write this down. Deployment begins where burden meets ability. What do you have? Who needs it? Where can you serve it now? Stop making your assignment mystical when the need is obvious. If you can teach, find someone who needs understanding. If you can build, find something broken. If you can organize, find disorder. If you can encourage, find someone weary. If you can create, produce something that carries truth, beauty, clarity, or healing. If you can analyze, solve a problem. If you can lead, take responsibility for confusion and bring direction. If you can, Father, be present, be principled, be consistent, be protective, be responsible. This is where your gift becomes work, not a job. Work. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. And when you deploy your gift properly, your work can show up inside your job, outside your job, before your job, after your job, and even if they take your job. They can fire you from a position, but they cannot fire you from your gift. They can remove your name from a schedule, but they cannot remove your assignment from your nature. If your gift is real, it travels with you. When a gift solves problems consistently, something begins to happen. Rooms open, relationships form, trust grows. People begin to say, call her, she can help. Call him, he understands this. Bring him into the room. They carry wisdom. Ask them to look at it. They know how to fix it. That is how influence grows. Not by begging, not by pretending, not by exaggerating, not by trying to appear deep. Influence grows when value becomes consistent enough for trust to form. Fruit does not beg hungry people to come. Fruit simply becomes fruit. An orange tree does not stand in the field shouting, please notice me. It produces, the fragrance travels, the color speaks, the nourishment waits. Hunger recognizes fruit. In the same way, when your life produces value, the right people will eventually recognize the nourishment. You may not be recognized by everybody. That is not the goal. You need to be recognized by the people assigned to the value you carry. So stop chasing everybody. Everybody is not your assignment. Stop trying to impress people who are not hungry for your fruit. Stop exhausting yourself trying to be famous in rooms where you were never sent. Serve the need God placed in front of you. Develop the gift God placed inside you. Produce value with discipline, consistency, humility, and excellence. Let fruit do what noise cannot do. Say this with me. I will serve value. Say it again. I will serve value. Now say this. I will not chase recognition. This is maturity. A child wants attention. A leader wants contribution. A child says, look at me. A leader says, how can I help? A child measures worth by applause. A leader measures faithfulness by fruit. You must outgrow the childish need to be constantly affirmed. If God gave you the gift, then serve it. If people clap, keep serving. If they do not clap, keep serving. If they misunderstand you, keep developing. If they overlook you, keep producing. If they invite you, serve with excellence. If they ignore you, serve where you are. Because your gift is not only about your personal fulfillment. That is too small. Yes, there is joy when you discover your purpose. Yes, there is satisfaction when you function according to design. But your gift is bigger than your feelings. Your gift is part of God's answer to the world. Someone is poor because you are hiding. Someone is confused because you are silent. Someone is unsupported because you are waiting to be celebrated. Someone is hungry while you are polishing your seed instead of producing fruit. This is why deployment is not optional. Deployment is the moment your developed gift leaves private potential and becomes public service. It may begin quietly. It may begin with one conversation, one lesson, one product, one act of order, one repaired relationship, one child mentored, one problem solved, one truth taught, one resource organized. But begin. Do not wait until the world applauds you to serve the world. Serve until the world has evidence that God sent you with value. Recognition is not the goal of the gift. Service is the goal. Influence follows value. And when your life becomes an answer, you will not have to chase significance. Significance will be the fragrance of your obedience. The world is not waiting for your ego. The world is waiting for your contribution. And the world becomes poorer every day you hide what God intended someone else to receive. Now listen carefully. When I say the world needs you, I am not flattering you. I am making you responsible. This is not a motivational statement to make you feel important. This is a stewardship statement to make you sober. If God placed something in you that was designed to answer a need in the earth, then your silence is not neutral. Your fear is not private. Your delay is not harmless. Your hiding has consequences. Write this down. Hiding your gift is not humility. It is withholding. Some of you have been calling fear humility. You say, I do not want to put myself forward. That sounds spiritual, but sometimes it is disobedience with a soft voice. You say, I am just waiting on God. But God is waiting on you to use what he already gave you. You say, I am not ready. Then develop. You say, I am not like them. You were never supposed to be like them. You say, I only have a little. But little in the hands of a faithful person can become much. The issue is not the size of what you carry. The issue is whether you will bury it or multiply it. Say this with me. I will not bury what God gave me. Say it again. I will not bury what God gave me. The world becomes poorer when you hide. Not poorer only in money, poorer in wisdom, poorer in order, poorer in beauty, poorer in courage, poorer in leadership, poorer in innovation, poorer in protection, poorer in healing. Someone loses because you refuse to function. Someone remains confused because the teacher is hiding. Someone remains disorganized because the administrator is hiding. Someone remains wounded because the healer is hiding. Someone remains unprotected because the father is hiding. Someone remains uninspired because the artist is hiding. Someone remains trapped in an old system because the innovator is hiding. Someone remains leaderless because the leader is waiting to feel qualified. This is why your life is not just about you. You are too small a reason to live. If your purpose ends with your comfort, then your vision is too small. God did not create you merely to survive, pay bills, and die. He placed you in your generation as a contribution. You are an answer wrapped in flesh. You are a solution in seed form. You are a gift entrusted to time. And every day you hide, the world is forced to live without a measure of what God intended to release through you. Jesus told a story about a man who gave talents to his servants. One received 5, one received 2, one received 1. Notice, the master did not give them the same amount, but he gave all of them something. This is important. The problem with the servant who had 1 talent was not that he had nothing. The problem was that he buried what he had been trusted to multiply. He did not lose it in business. He did not invest it and fail. He hid it. He protected it from risk and called that safety. But the master called it wickedness and laziness. That is strong, because in the kingdom, unused potential is not innocence. Buried trust is a violation of stewardship. The servant said, I was afraid. Fear was his explanation, but fear did not excuse his inactivity. Fear may explain why you buried it, but it does not justify keeping it buried. Fear may tell your story, but it must not govern your future. If God trusted you with something, then he expects you to do business with it. He expects growth. He expects fruit. He expects multiplication. Write this down. God does not judge you by another person's 5. He judges you by your faithfulness with your 1. Stop comparing your assignment to somebody else's capacity. The man with 2 was not judged for failing to produce 5. He was judged according to what he had been given. The man with 1 was not condemned because he had 1. He was condemned because he buried 1. This should deliver you from comparison and confront you with responsibility at the same time. You do not have to be everybody. You do not have to carry what they carry. You do not have to sound like them, build like them, teach like them, lead like them, create like them, or serve like them. But you must be faithful with what God trusted to you. So stop despising your 1. Your 1 may be the seed of a forest. Your 1 may become the word that saves a family. Your 1 may become the business that employs people. Your 1 may become the system that brings order. Your 1 may become the song that heals a heart. Your one may become the book, the lesson, the invention, the ministry, the home, the discipline, the example that changes someone's direction, but not if you bury it. Say this with me. I will not bury what God trusted me to carry. I will develop it. I will serve it. I will multiply it. Say it again and say it like a steward. I will not bury what God trusted me to carry. I will develop it. I will serve it. I will multiply it. Now I want you to make this personal. Do not just admire the statement. Declare the decision. Write it where your own eyes can see it. Say, I will serve my gift for God's purpose. Or name the responsibility. I will develop the teacher in me. I will build the business. I will lead my family. I will bring order. I will mentor the young. I will create with discipline. I will solve the problem I was assigned to solve. Put language to your obedience, because a vague intention rarely becomes a disciplined life. This is the hour to stop hiding behind inadequacy. Nobody begins fully mature. Seeds do not begin as trees. Servants do not begin with multiplication already completed. They begin with trust. God trusted you with something. That means heaven has already made a statement about your capacity. Your fear is not more authoritative than God's trust. Your insecurity is not more accurate than God's assignment. Your past is not more powerful than God's purpose. The world is poorer when you hide. Your generation is poorer when you delay. Your family is poorer when you remain dormant. Your community is poorer when you stay silent. Hiding is not humility. Hiding is withholding a contribution God intended someone else to receive. So gather everything we have said. You are necessary. You are an assignment, not an accident. Your gift is an answer. Your work is deeper than your job. Your belief system must be corrected. Your part matters to the whole engine. Your dormancy must no longer be tolerated. Your seed must become fruit. Your value must be served, not advertised. And now the final matter is this. You must deploy yourself before another day steals your courage. Deploy yourself before another day steals your courage. Because courage often comes in moments, but fear returns with arguments. Courage says begin. Fear says wait until you are ready. Courage says serve. Fear says who do you think you are? Courage says use what is in your hand. Fear says it is too small. And many people have lost years because they believed the second voice after God had already spoken to the first one. Write this down. Delay is often fear wearing the clothing of wisdom. You keep saying, I am being careful. Sometimes that is true, but sometimes careful is just another name for hiding. You say, I am waiting for the right time. But the right time for obedience is when truth confronts you. You say, I need more confidence. Confidence does not always come before movement. Sometimes confidence is born while you are moving. You say, I need someone to recognize me. Recognition is not permission. God's design is permission. The need in front of you is permission. The gift inside you is permission. Say this with me. I do not need applause to obey. Say it again. I do not need applause to obey. Now gather the whole matter. God created you with purpose. You did not begin with your crisis. You did not begin with your family history. You did not begin with your mistakes. You began in the mind of God. Before people named you, God assigned you. Before life wounded you, God designed you. Before circumstances tried to define you, heaven had already placed a gift inside you. And that gift was not given merely to decorate your personality. It was given to solve something. It was given to serve somebody. It was given as an answer to a human problem. That means you are not optional. You are not accidental. You are not unnecessary. You are not extra material in the earth. You are an assignment carrying an answer. Say it. I am an assignment carrying an answer. Say it again. And this time let your own heart hear you. I am an assignment carrying an answer. This is why you must discover it. This is why you must develop it. This is why you must deploy it. Discovery without development becomes frustration. Development without deployment becomes waste. Deployment without service becomes ambition. But when discovery development, and service come together, a human life becomes fruitful. A person becomes a solution. A gift becomes bread. A seed becomes a tree. A private burden becomes public value. Now I want to give you a 7-day assignment. Not 7 years, 7 days. Because if you do not move quickly on truth, your old mindset will try to repossess your future. In the next 7 days, identify one gift, not 10, one. What is one ability, one burden, one grace, one capacity that keeps showing up in your life? What do people come to you for? What problem makes you angry enough to act? What do you understand that others struggle to see? What do you do that produces help when you do it with discipline? Then identify one problem that gift can serve. Do not make this mystical. If your gift is teaching, find confusion. If your gift is organizing, find disorder. If your gift is mercy, find pain. If your gift is administration, find chaos. If your gift is creativity, find a place where truth needs beauty. If your gift is leadership, find a place where people need direction. Your gift becomes clear when it meets a need. Then choose one small act of deployment. One conversation, one lesson, one call, one plan, one page written, one person mentored, one system repaired, one proposal made, one room brought into order, one burden lifted, one act of service that moves the gift out of your imagination and into the world. Do not despise small deployment. Small obedience is still obedience. A seed does not apologize for beginning small. And then choose one discipline that will develop the gift. Study for 30 minutes a day. Practice the skill. Ask for correction. Wake up earlier. Finish what you start. Read in your field. Build your character. Keep your word. Control your attitude. Excellence is not an event. Excellence is a discipline. If the gift is from God, then treat it with respect. Do not offer the world an undeveloped answer and call it faith. Faith works. Faith prepares. Faith obeys. Do not wait for a title. Titles do not create leaders. Function reveals leaders. Do not wait for a stage. Service is the first stage. Do not wait for perfect confidence. Move with trembling hands if you must, but move. Do not wait for everybody to understand you. Everybody is not assigned to your obedience. Do not wait until all fear disappears. Fear may walk with you, but it must not lead you. Write this down. Begin before fear becomes persuasive again. There are people whose lives are connected to your obedience. You may not know their names yet. You may not see their faces yet, but they are real. Someone needs the wisdom you keep postponing. Someone needs the courage you keep hiding. Someone needs the order you can bring. Someone needs the product, the lesson, the home, the ministry, the business, the art, the counsel, the leadership, the example that God placed in you. The world should not have to live without what heaven deposited in your life. So today, make a decision, not an emotional moment, a decision. I will discover what God placed in me. I will develop it with discipline. I will deploy it in service. I will stop waiting to be celebrated before I become useful. I will stop calling fear humility. I will stop calling delay wisdom. I will stop burying what God trusted me to multiply. And if this word is awakening something in you, stay connected to truth that keeps calling you back to God's original purpose. Subscribe, not for entertainment, but because your mind must be trained in kingdom identity. And write in the comments the truth you are choosing to believe and live out. Say what you are refusing to bury. Say what you are choosing to become. Say what God placed in you that must now serve the world. Now say this final decree with me, and do not whisper it. Say it as a steward. Say it as a servant. Say it as a person who has been trusted by God. The world needs what God placed in me, and I will not die with my gift still hidden.